Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, even you little bitty mistreated lab mice out there getting tested for COVID-19. Look out, you guys. Go look for a piece of cheese and get out of Dodge. Greg Anthony here on the greatest show on earth. And if you're of any race, color, or creed, you're welcome here. Yes. Come on and listen. Laugh it off. I mean, the best medicine in this crazy world is laughter, and we're not getting enough of it. In fact, I went to the doctor just the other day, and he gave me all these pills. He said, "You seem to be a bit nervous." I said, "Well, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. Okay, take this Prozac." Okay. So I did that. And then I was walking home, and I felt like I was in a dream world. And I met this drug dealer, and he said, "You look depressed." And I said, "Well, yeah, the world's going to hell in a handbasket." He said, "Hey, take this cocaine." So I said, I only took once in my life. I took it when I was a little kid. I was about 18 years old, and I tried it, and I said I'd never take it again because I'd love it so much. Oh, Greg Anthony here. The truth hurts, doesn't it sometimes? I'm not addicted to anything. I just like things that are better than life itself. But anyway, I turned the drug dealer down. I said, "No, I will not do that." But you know what? Then guess what happens? I decided that, boy, these doctors are giving me all this medicine to make me feel good. And I said, this is no way to go. So what I did was I just started laughing again, threw the Prozac down the toilet, and said, screw it. The world is going to hell, and I am going to enjoy it no matter what. And you know what? Why not do it? That's what we do here on the Greg Anthony Show. It gets a bit boring. I was doing, it's like every day for me is like Groundhog Day. And that movie by Bill Murray, by the way, he's from Chicago. A lot of good people come there, including me. But anyway, Greg Anthony here on the greatest show on earth. And people go, why does he call it the greatest show on earth? Is he losing his mind? Well, haven't we all lost our mind? Look at the world. I mean, you wake up and you hear doctors working for the man, working for the Jesuits going, one mask isn't enough because we're not getting enough bronchial pneumonia. And other doctors are going, well, when you wear one mask, we're seeing skyrocketing cases of bronchial pneumonia because there's bacteria going into our lungs. That makes sense. So don't wear the mask. But you know what these guys do in Washington? They double down. Yeah. They say we're 2. Hey, why not 3? Why not 4? Hey, I got an order for all of you people. You have to put a dozen masks on, okay? And another one of my pet peeves, I played college football, right? And I'm proud of that. I really am. I look back on it, boy, it was fun. Knocking heads with a couple people every day, getting all of your aggressions out, and then you go, after the 2-hour practice, you walk around like you're floating on a cloud. Everything is great. Guy comes up to you and says, "You know what? You look like a stupid Polak." And if I didn't play football, I'd probably have smashed him in the head. But you know what I did? I said, "Man, cool it, relax, easy. The world's a beautiful place. Don't worry about it. Let's laugh at each other." And he'd just kind of go, "All right, you sissy, get out of my way." But anyway, life is a dream because that's the only way you can exist in this world. You got to dream away what's really going on. But it's nothing new to me. This is like Groundhog Day all over again 20 years ago. You know what? I like these people. We're talking now about the Constitution. Well, the Constitution is gone. Well, yes, it's been gone for 200 years. I mean, they put a nice document there so people could think they have freedom, but it's always been an illusion of freedom. And now they're just saying, you know what? This is getting old. Let's get a new one. And that's all they're doing. I mean, so what? Could be fun. Watch them make a new constitution. In fact, maybe they'll invite us to their constitutional occult witch hunting convention. Where they all drink. Maria Abramovich's going to be the cook for the new Constitutional Congress. And Crazy Nancy, Bumbling Biden. Oh, I got some great stuff on Bumbling Biden today, so stick around. So they're going to, that could be fun, Maria Abramovich's going, "Listen, guys, take away every freedom right you got, but you got to make it legal to really have spirit cooking. And, spirit cooking is like blood from a child in your soup. Boy, we're going to have fun, aren't we? Witch hunting is going to go back into style. This time, the witches are going to hunt us. That's the only difference. But anyway, Clinton's out there. She's been a witch for God knows how long, and I'm so embarrassed. She came from my hometown. She went to Maine East High School, and I went to Notre Dame. And she lived maybe 6 blocks from where I lived. I never knew her. She was a bit older than me. But anyway, I can't. It's not the water then that's causing these people to go crazy from Chicago. But Clinton was from my hometown. I find it interesting. She became so ruthless, and look at me, happy as a lark. She should have went to Notre Dame, but you couldn't. It was an all-boys school back then, right? But anyway, you can't do that anymore. Can you have an all-boys school? You can't even have an all-boys bathroom. I mean, how are you going to have an all-boys school? What about the military? What's going on there? Well, Biden gets in and they all sleep in garages. Get out of my house. You guys just go in the garage and sleep. Then what did he do? He just nullified Trump's. He said, transgenders shouldn't be in the military. They cost too much. When they get in there, one guy becomes a corporal and he says, "Nah, I want to be a nurse. Not a man nurse, a female nurse." So then you got to pay for the operation, and it's cost ineffective. Trump was a businessman. So he got rid of that, no transgenders. Biden said, yes, we should have transgenders, And all the guys are going, okay. Section 8. No, there's no Section 8s anymore. Guy thinks, you go to your sergeant, you go, I'm bunking with this guy. He thinks he's a girl one day and a boy the next. Shut up. Get in line, do 20 push-ups. That's okay now. But anyway, isn't life great? I mean, really, think about it. I wake up every day, everybody's angry. I mean, angry about what? You have your First Amendment. I tell people this all the time. In fact, I used my First Amendment rights just the other day again. This time I wrote a story about how Protestantism is dead. And Protestants are dead. I decided to go back in history like 20 years, 30 years, and look at the ecumenical movement in America and see how the Jesuits have infiltrated all the Protestant churches, changing kind of the idea behind it, protest, the Vatican. We can't have that. So they had to figure out a way to do that, and that's why you have all of this. You go into a Protestant church and you want to sing a, old hymn from the 16th century. They're really good. And all of a sudden you got, a rap artist up there going, oh, kill the man, and God loves the man, or whatever they're doing, So you're getting all this rap music, bands playing, and then the message is, diluted, Protestants used to protest, so the Vatican said, no, they can't protest against us. We haven't been able to kill you all yet, so now you're going to have to deceptively accept our changes of policy. So they get a lukewarm American public who doesn't care what the hell they do, and they go into church, and they don't care that Protestants are not Protestants anymore. And so the reason I bring that up is 20 years ago I looked into this, so I went around and I was doing a lot of Vatican and Jesuit intrigue from a secular point of view, but I said, man, there's much more to this. I mean, they're really sick people, and they want to, they're doing all this killing and all this occult magic and things like that. And I said, where does this come from? And so I decided to study the hierarchy of my church from not a secular point of view, but for their, so-called religious aspects. And I found out the people in America, when I came back from Italy after being there 7 years, looking at the Vatican firsthand, that was quite a trip, let me tell you. Oh, I could tell you stories. We could go on for probably a month. Right here, without. Why don't I do a Vatican telethon? That'd be interesting. How many people would come up and go, "Yes, I was a Duplessis orphan, and the Vatican changed me because we were in an orphanage in Canada, and then they said we were homeless, and then they took us into the orphanage. I was 7 years old. And then they said I was insane, even though I had the genius. I could figure out. They'd say, what's 97 and 82? And I'd figure it out. Then they said, he's insane. So they then sent me over to one of the Canadian mental institutions, and Dr. Mengele did experiments on me, turned me into a rhinoceros or something. I don't know, at least I thought I was for a while. And that's a true story. Duplessis orphans, nothing to laugh about. And years ago, I remember doing serious stories about the victims who were looking for their rights in Canada, and nothing, they got a few bucks, but nobody cares that the Vatican was involved in that. No, they're good. Oh, yeah, 2 billion strong. Go sit in a pew. Let them put ashes on your forehead, stick something in your mouth. What do they do now with a mask? How can you get communion? They got a little slit in there. They put it through there, and the priest probably got to wear gloves now, plastic gloves, and wear a hazmat suit. But anyway, who cares? Nobody can go into church anyway. They got to do things outside. So what? But anyway, I was back about the First Amendment rights, and I display them all the time. I go out on my sailboat, and I wrote a story about Protestants no longer exist because they've been infiltrated, and they're not protesting. They're believing that the Antichrist is somebody in the future, Hitler. Well, he's gone already, but maybe, I don't know, some crazy guy, like maybe Bill Gates. But that's not true. And then they say, well, no, the Antichrist came in the past, in the 3rd century or something. But really, that was a Jesuit ploy to confuse you, when really the Antichrist system that the Protestants taught was the Vatican and the Pontifex Maximuses that take over. Now we got 2. We got 2 Antichrists. Gets better. Maybe they'll have 3. But so that doesn't exist anymore. If you said that, you are going to be in a detention center now, because that's called hate speech, domestic terrorism. For example, if you say there was election fraud and you're a conservative, you're going to be censored. It's domestic terrorism. Huh. Great country, huh? You like your new Constitution? But anyway, First Amendment rights are here to stay. Because I went out, I drank my bottle of scotch, and then I put in the Protestant story, how I went around, and like I was saying, I went around 20 years ago, and I said, a lot of these Christian groups are being persecuted by the Vatican. What did they have to say? So I went around and I found the only people that really understood the seriousness were people that were born-again Christians that were talking about it. And every one of their little churches were persecuted. Something like the FBI or somebody was trying to infiltrate, put guns in there, drugs, and then make them out to be criminals. And all they really want to do is homeschool their children with the values of the Bible. What's wrong with that? I mean, come on. If we allow Satanism at high levels, can't we allow people just to sit and read their Bible? No. The Pope says you must love and honor him. Yes. That's why he's a bit upset now. Stories are coming. I got a story from the Vatican. This is hilarious. And an insider from Rome wrote me a story, sent it, and said this. He said, the Pope is suffering from a sciatica problem, and this is after he just took his COVID vaccine. Now, first of all, sciatica can be debilitating, agreed, for older people. Secondly, I don't think he ever got the vaccine. I don't believe that. I really don't. They know it's lethal. They know it's going to hurt people. They just give it to people they want to get rid of. And the Pope, well, if they want to get rid of him, maybe so. They wanted to get rid of the Pope before John Paul, remember? But I don't think he took it. I think it's a fake. I think he's got a bad sciatica. And maybe he's going to resign. Another story on the side with all this going on. They say they have a huge Vatican bank scandal again. Haven't they it's all deja vu. 25 years ago. No, back in 82. I remember I was there for their biggest scandal. And that was the biggest since sliced bread. Now they got another one. They said they were going to clean it up then. That's when I found out that all these cardinals are members of the Freemasonic P2 Lodge. That was in all the French and Italian newspapers. Then I found out the cardinal from my hometown was the head of the Vatican Bank, and he was a crook, Cardinal Marcinkus. So, they've had time to clean things up. They never do. And now there's another big scandal, and it's really obvious that the Vatican Bank is one of the biggest money laundering operations in the world. So why are they not in jail? Because, folks, there is no law. There is none. I don't want to hear this about anymore, you complaining. Well, don't worry. The good people will take care of it. We'll take them to court. You ain't going to get any justice. No. There is no law. It's all an illusion. They create all these courts so you think you have a place to go. Then you get there and you go, what the hell is this? This is like going to hell. And that's exactly what it is, because the most endangered species, as my good friend who passed away a number of years ago, Sherman Skolnick, he was called the Judge Buster. And they should have made a movie instead of the Ghostbusters. Should have been him. And he said to me one time, and many people have heard it, it's a great line, he said, most endangered species in America is an honest judge. And that includes Amy Comey, Notre Dame, that just was put in the Supreme Court. You think she'll sit there, waste her time on all these rulings, and in the end, look where the hell we are, They didn't even take up she voted against taking up the election fraud. There was no fraud. No, not according to them. Nothing. Hey, that's because they want to cheat. They've cheated before. They don't know it. They believe themselves. They believe that they can take 10, 12 million votes, change the name on it, and that's not fraud. No, that's doing something for the common good, because the ends justify the means. And where do they learn this stuff from? The good old Jesuits have been doing it for years, ever since, back to my original story, ever since they were created to get rid of Protestantism. Does anybody ever talk about that? But then again, they have the biggest school, the biggest institution. The first was the first college, Catholic Georgetown University, and now they got hundreds of them all over the place. But that's okay. There's no fraud. They didn't really mean to cut Protestant people's heads off. In fact, that's all right. Because the ends do justify the means, because they got to get rid of people who don't believe that the Pope is the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know that. Come on, people. Get on board. So you have your First Amendment. Don't complain. Wearing a mask. What are you worried about? Hey, they're just telling you every criminal in the world wears one, so you wear one too. It's so funny. The only ones not wearing them now are the criminals. They're going, hey, we can go into a bank. We don't need a mask. They don't care anymore. The guy comes into a bank and he says, give me all. He takes $1 million, Walks out of the bank, gets arrested. The cop takes half. The Pope gets the other half, and he gets put in jail for 2 days for not wearing his mask. That's justice. But anyway, then we get people that want to usurp, these good people that are running our country and want to take over for the Vatican and say this is not right. We're going to revolutionize this. And then you know what happens? They either get killed or put in jail. And so the revolutions never get off the ground. And the idea, people that say, well, we should fight for our rights. Yeah, look what, remember the Civil War? If you really do some historical research, because really the problem is it's really very simple. Whether you're talking about spiritual things that are going on in your churches that have been infiltrated, or whether you're talking about your country that's been taken over by communists, Marxists, the Vatican, it boils down to this. You haven't really searched deep enough in history, and we've all made the same mistakes. And pretty soon it's going to catch up with you. And that's what's happened. So what do? Well, for me, it's like deja vu all over again. Like I said, like Yogi Berra said, it's the Jesuits all over again. And ever since I was in Rome, I saw it firsthand, and I see how they operate. It's pretty simple. And that's how I know without even, I don't need 100 million research books to tell me that Trump is not working for you. All I got to do is say, listen, let Dr. Fauci, and he prevented you from knowing the truth about COVID-19, creates Operation Warp Speed. He's a Jesuit. Don't even think any farther. He was put there to take this country down, even though he talked about bringing it up. That's how they work. It's called the Hegelian dialectic. And they're going to do it till the cows come home because people just want to grab onto anything that they think will give them hope. Like Q. Yeah, everybody calls me and goes, well, you must know what Q is. I said, yeah, I don't even bother with it. Let me tell you this. You can do all the research in the world, and you know who he is? It's an information campaign, a PSYOPs campaign, to get you to end up in a detention center as a terrorist because you believe in America. Right. And then they put Trump up there, and boy, did they play him perfect. I mean, I talked to the director, and then the second half hour we're going to talk about the real COVID-19 reality show, how that's going, and certain things that are going on. We found some old B movies with Joe Biden, like Joe and the Kindergarten Girls, Joe and the Girl Scout Cookies, all these movies that were flops, and now some pictures are coming up of Joe when he was a B actor. But he finally made it to the big time. He's a star of the COVID reality show. The top star took over for the Orange Monster. People asked me months ago, Greg, is it going to be Trump or is it going to be Biden? I said, listen, I'll talk to Luigi Franconi, the director of the COVID-19 reality show. And Luigi told me, he said, listen, we'd like Trump back, but he doesn't want to sign another 4-year contract. He doesn't want to be typecast as a bad guy, Orange Monster, terrible president, everybody hates him, half the country. He wants to go into romantic comedies, kind of like Cary Grant, And that's it. So he leaves. He goes to his mansion in Florida. Now he's studying his lines. He's got an audition this week with Steven Spielberg for some movie. I don't know. Starring, I guess Johnny Depp's going to be there. And boy, that was a good one. People asked me, how come Johnny Depp said he wanted, it's time. Johnny Depp, quote, something like this. It's time for another actor maybe to kill a president. And, I found out the inside story again from Luigi Franconi. You didn't know this, but Johnny Depp was up for the role of president 4 years ago. It was him, Trump, Tom Hanks, and Trump got it. That's why Hanks went to Greece. So Depp gets upset. So now, supposedly, they're going to be in a movie together. I think it's the remake of The Headless Horseman, and Trump's going to play the Headless Horseman. According to Johnny Depp. But anyway, that's what we do here. We laugh off all this craziness. And something, I figured this out. If you laugh enough, you can't wear a mask. No, it's impossible. So if you keep laughing, just keep laughing. When a person, I've got a couple of good things. I got to talk about a video somebody sent me about a preacher, good preacher, who gave a lecture about Protestants no more. And then I got to talk about somebody who said, there's a way not to wear masks. And this woman from Ireland gave a whole dissertation on God's law. Okay. And let me tell you something. It'll sound great, natural law. You don't have to wear it. But I'll tell you what. You can naturally sit with natural law in jail or be detained for the rest of your life. We'll be back. And I have to say this. 3 minutes, 33 seconds. For all you occultists out there, I'm on your side. Don't kill me. Back in 3 minutes, 33 seconds.